Hey guys, welcome to Performance Garage. I just got my Burger Motorsports water methanol kit installed just a little bit ago, and I thought it would be a good idea to take a video, kind of show you guys some tips and tricks when installing it, and basically just how I have it set up, so you can kind of follow us along if you get the same thing. So I'm going to start at the back here, where I got it set up. Got the tank, have the 2-gallon tank in here. The reason I got it was because this one comes pre-tapped. Definitely not something I want to be messing around with, tapping the tank because I mess it up or something happens and get a bunch of leaks and stuff. So I have it actually set up with Velcro. I have a bunch of stick-on Velcro just holding this in. You might freak out a little bit, but it's actually pretty sturdy. You can see I can't really move it around there too much. I only have it filled up to about 1 gallon. You really don't need any more, so I thought I'd just play it safe, just put 1 gallon in and it should be fine. It's worked well so far. So I'll try to flip this around so you can sort of see the pump setup and everything. Yeah, you can see this moves, but it's pretty sturdy. Now you had this, the brass fitting there. Definitely a little bit of a problem. It took me about 15 minutes or so to get that installed, just because it wasn't biting threads or something. A little bit of pain, but yeah, just once you get it in and it starts biting threads, you should be good to go. You can see the white stuff there that I have on there. It's basically a PTFE sealant paste. I'll show you real quick. It's this stuff right here. I got it on Amazon for about $5. I'm sure there's other companies like Loctite or something that make it. Basically, you want some kind of PTFE paste just to help seal it. Don't put tape on it though. They recommend not doing that, so I advise against it. Also, this compression fitting, they come with like these plastic sleeves, which they come in all the fittings that come with this kit have these plastic compression sleeves, and just about every single one failed. As soon as I put it on, it either wouldn't bite down on this hose, or it would bite down kind of like a little bit, but it would leak quite a lot. So what I did, just pop these out, and I got 1/4-inch brass compression fitting sleeves, fix the problem straight away. So that's something you might want to keep in mind, and I'll try to add a link to an Amazon post where you could just buy some compression fitting sleeves. That should solve your problem. Here you have the black ground wire, just an extension I made here. What I did was I routed, I'm not going to show you this side because it's big cramps, but it's the same on this side. You have the child safety bolt here to lock in your child safety seat. I did the same. I just took this bolt out, put a little eye on there to connect the wire, put the bolt back in. That's the ground done. Now with the hose too, oh, there's some air in here, I have to bleed that. The hose and the power wire, I routed it just behind the seat. Really simply, put the seat down so you can kind of see it a little better. But basically I went under the bolt and bracket right here. You kind of see it, just went under it, and I'll take you inside so you can see the rest of it. It's pretty simple. Didn't have to take the entire seat out like some people did. I'll just move this up. So yeah, you can see that. It's a pretty clean install. Close it up nicely. You can barely see it from there. And then I would just route it under here on the side, and it comes out right here. Now again, some people take out this entire panel. I thought that was a little unnecessary. I didn't feel like, hiding 1.5 foot of this stuff is really worth taking out the entire side panel of this car. It's a little complicated and kind of a pain, so I'd rather not do it. Back seats don't really get used that much anyway, where I'm super conscious about it, and I think it looks a little cool having it exposed. This I did pop out, just pull straight out on this piece, and it's like 3 clips. Comes out super easy. Route the power wire and the tube through there, and this is where it gets a little hard. So, up this way, get to this hose back in a sec. This is the JB4, plugs into OB2. Go up, and then this is the JB4 wire again. This is the power wire. I have it routed through here by the fender. This is the first time you're doing it. If you're going to be plugging your JB4 or this, you want to go this way, you might have to pull down on this plastic piece. I remember it was a little stiff at first when I tried doing it, but after you do it like once or twice, it's pretty easy to just pull it down. And then go with either a hanger or maybe even your fingers. Like sometimes it works. Me, I can just fish it with my fingers. Sometimes it doesn't. Kind of hit or miss. But back to this tube. This was a pain. This, I will tell you straight up, was a pain. And I'll try and show you why. It is a little dark. So basically, this is where your entire wiring harness goes through, that boot. So you're gonna try and get your tube to go through there as well. And there's two little holes on each side that are only on this side of the boot. On the side that's towards the engine bay, there's no holes, just the factory hole for the factory wiring harness, and it's snug. Yeah, you're not going to be routing it through there through the factory wiring harness hole. So what you're going to have to do, you're going to have to make a hole yourself. Now maybe if you have a drill bit or something, you can use that if you have enough space. What I ended up doing was getting a series of screwdrivers and a hammer and just kind of tapping it through and just kind of forcing my way through, being mindful of the wiring harness not to hit that. But that rubber is very thick. It's so thick, in fact, that when I first did it with a decent sized screwdriver and pulled the screwdriver back out, it actually like almost self-sealed the hose, the hole that I made. So you need quite a large screwdriver or punch or something to get through, or drill. That would probably be ideal to get through that, to make a big enough hole to get your tube through. But once you have that set up, it should be easy going from there once you get this tube through. And then I'll show you what I kind of had to do to pull it through and get a little bit of access. So I'll show you the engine bay right now. But once you get this done, your troubles are mostly over, mostly solved. So coming back up here, you can see I routed the power wire and the JB4 wire. Got some zip ties just to clean it up. This is my JB4 box, velcroed onto fuse box. It's off, but I'll show you in a sec why. I have the 6-element carbon fiber air intake, which is very nice. It is on right now, so you can't get a great view of everything. Sorry about that, but it is a little bit of pain to get off. Hopefully you can kind of bear with me. So, what else do we have in the kit? Well, you have your fail-safe box. It's right here. That does have a few wires you gotta keep in mind. First off, first thing I would do is take these two wires, your orange and blue wires, and you're gonna have to unscrew your JB4, kind of take it apart, and get to where there's that big pin connector. So take that off, and I believe the orange wire goes into pin 3, I believe, and the blue wire goes into pinhole 16. But check in the description. I will make sure those are the correct pins, and if not, I will put that in the description so you don't put them in the wrong pinholes. But I believe that's where it is, or they might be flipped around, but I will double check when I'm posting it. So that's the first thing you want to do. Take this apart. This is only 4 screws in the back, and then it's basically just one half comes off, and you'll see the chipboard and the little wiring harness plugs in. I think you got 2 screws, these small screws, just Phillips, take off, and then this piece can unplug. You fish these 2 wires in, and you really just fish them through the hole, and they should fit pretty snug. So that's your JB4 part done. Now the other wires here, the yellow wire, that is sending power to the pump, which is your big red wire that you just routed through. So this make a good connection here. Pretty simple, simple one to hook up. Then you also have a black ground wire, which you can't see here, but there's a basically a bolt that has a strap connected to it. Actually, you can sort of see the strap. That's one end of it, but that strap goes and basically goes to about here, where you can see that the frame beam. It goes about there. It's just a ground. You can unbolt that bolt. It's literally a ground strap, so you can ground wire from the failsafe box and also a wire from the solenoid, which I'll get to in a second. So that's where those wires should go. Then finally, you have a wire that goes to the solenoid. That's going to be a green wire. You're going to connect that to the solenoid, and then we have a power wire to power this whole thing. That's this red wire. It's the red wire that's connected to the failsafe box. That one you can go into your fuse box. There's open up right here, and you could plug it in right where mine is. So I'm going to pause that, and then look at your box, kind of compare it. It's just a spare fuse. You could take the fuse out and just kind of pop it in, and then you just close it back up. It's a little hard to do with one hand, so I'll do that a little bit later. But getting onto the solenoid has those brass fittings similar to the one by the tank. Again, with the crap plastic compression sleeves, they leaked. On mine, both of them on the solenoid ends leaked, so I replaced them with the brass ones. Sorry, it's very hard to see, but it's right there. And what I did was I zip tied it to, you see that the black wiring harness there? I zip tied that to the solenoid, so that's not going anywhere. But yeah, replace those plastic compression sleeves if you can with some brass ones. Shouldn't have any leaks. Make sure everything's tightened down, and apply that PTFE paste on those fittings as well to make a good seal. On the solenoid, you're gonna have two black wires. It doesn't matter which one you use, but one of them has to be grounded. You can ground to the same spot I was talking about before, and then one of them has to go to the green wire from the failsafe box. Then after that, very simple. Have the rest of the hose routed from about there to come here. Definitely suggest getting this piece. This is the I believe they call it the quick connect adapter or something. About $100, but definitely well worth it. All you do, you take your original map sensor off, which is that plug right there. And this is gonna be a little bit of pain to actually get off because it's like quite a good seal in there. But you're gonna get that off, and then put that black piece back onto the charge pipe there, and get the map sensor. And you're gonna really want to press down on it because it's got a very tight O-ring that has to seal it very well. If you can kind of get one side to be a little bit farther pressed in than the other, and as long as you can get a bolt to thread in to the pipe, you can kind of slowly tighten it up, and it should bring down the other side as well, so you can get another bolt in. Then finally, again, another compression fitting. Same deal here. It's got the same sleeves that don't seem to work very well, so I switched out for a brass one. And that works fine. Before you plug this in to the black block there, once you get everything set up, you're gonna have to bleed it. So you might want to just leave that open for now and like not plug it in all the way. So you're gonna want to bleed the system, or purge it as they call it. Go into your JB4 app, make sure everything's hooked up and powered, and go to the water methanol settings, and there's a button at the top that says purge. Probably gonna want to hit it maybe, I don't know, 3 to 6 times, and you'll see it finally start to come out. Once you do, you'll see like some air bubbles still in line. Obviously you can just bleed it until you don't see it anymore. And when you're bleeding it, you don't want it hooked up. Like I said, you can get like a little bottle. I took like a water bottle and just had it going into there, and yeah, that's about it. Once it's bleed pretty well, you could tighten it back up and you should be good to go. With the JB4, they wanted to use a MAP 7. That's the one that has water meth working on that one, so that's the one to use. Of course, you have like a custom pack, use that one, but MAP 7 is the one that has the water meth engaged, basically. Oh, one other tip, when you're routing that tube, if you're coming from the same place that I did, through the wiring harness, one thing that I found useful is to actually disconnect the ECU. You press your finger into that and pull up. This comes out, this one comes out, and it gives you just enough room to help, grab in there and fish it through. You can see I kind of went from there, fish it through the side here, and then along to the solenoid. So hopefully that helps you guys, or gives you a good idea if you're setting this kit up. I know it's made mainly for the JB4. I think you can use it with other systems as long as the failsafe box can work with those systems as well. But I have the JB4, been loving it so far, and I made it pretty easy to install this kit and use it like straight out of the box. So if you got any questions, you can always hit me up in the comments or anything. If you want to see more about the car or reviews on like the 6th airbox or anything, let me know. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like, comment or anything, and subscribe. Of course, it helps me out a ton. And yeah, have a good one.